Have you ever wondered who really calls the shots in the world's largest democracy? Well, today, we're going to peel back the layers of the Indian government and take a look at its intricate power map.
It seems like such a simple question, right? Who runs India? But the answer is, well, it's fascinatingly complex. Is it just one person? A group? Maybe an institution? As we're about to find out, it's actually a little bit of all of those things. And it's all laid out for us in one single foundational document. You see, everything about how India is governed, every single role, every power, and every limitation is all defined right here in the Constitution of India. It's the ultimate rulebook, the source of all power, and it's going to be our guide for this entire journey. Okay, so let's start at the very top of the hierarchy, just as the Constitution lays it out. And that means we begin with the President of India.
So, Article 52 of the Constitution says that the President is the official head of the Indian Republic. The best way to think about it is like this. The President is kind of the CEO of the country, at least on paper. Every single official action the government takes is formally done in the President's name.
And this role, it comes with some seriously powerful abilities. I mean, the President appoints the most powerful people in the country, signs off on every law, can pardon criminals, and can even declare a national emergency. Looking at this list, you'd think this is the ultimate authority, no question. But, and this is the crucial twist that really unlocks how the whole system works, the President uses all these huge powers, but almost always only on the advice of the Council of Ministers, which, by the way, is led by the Prime Minister. So you see, while the President is the head of state, the real day-to-day executive power is actually somewhere else.
So let's talk about the person who gives that advice and see how this power dynamic really plays out. Let's talk about the Prime Minister.
This chart just lays it all out so clearly. The President is what you'd call the de jure head. That means the leader in name, according to the law. But the Prime Minister? They hold the de facto authority. They're the leader in practice, in reality. The President is the symbol of the nation. The Prime Minister is the head of the actual government. Now, this power isn't a blank check. The Prime Minister and their whole team work under a super important principle called collective responsibility. Basically, it means they are answerable as one single unit to the Lok Sabha, the House of Parliament that's directly elected by the people. If a major policy goes wrong and they lose what's called a no-confidence vote, boom, the entire government has to resign. And that idea of accountability brings us to the third major player in our power map, the body that actually makes the laws and, holds the government's feet to the fire. Let's dive into Parliament. So India's Parliament has two houses. First, you've got the Lok Sabha, which literally translates to the House of the People because its members are all directly elected by the citizens. Then you have the Rajya Sabha, the Council of States, which represents the states themselves. Its members are chosen by the state assemblies. And their main job? Turning ideas into laws. It's quite a process. A proposed law or a bill has to be introduced, it gets fiercely debated, it's sent to committees for review, and then it has to be passed by a majority in both houses. Only after all that does it go to the president for that final signature to become the law of the land. But Parliament does more than just make laws. It's also a watchdog. It uses all these tools, like the fiery debates you see during question hour or strategic motions to challenge government policy, and of course, that ultimate threat of a no-confidence vote, to keep a constant check on the Prime Minister and the ministers. This is accountability in action. Okay, so we've got an executive branch that runs the country and a legislature that makes the laws. But who makes sure they both play by the rules in the first place? Well, that is the huge, monumental job of our final branch, the judiciary. You see, the Supreme Court has this game-changing power called judicial review. What that means is, if Parliament passes a law and the government starts to act on it, the Supreme Court can step in, put that law under a constitutional microscope, and if it violates the core principles of the Constitution, they can declare it null and void. Gone. Just think about that for a second. It's the ultimate defense for the Constitution itself. This single power makes the judiciary the final guardian of the law of the land, and just as important, the guardian of every single citizen's rights. And to make sure that judges can actually use this power without any fear or political pressure, their independence is fiercely protected. They have a secure term in office, and their salaries can't be cut. All of this is designed to insulate them from politics, so they can make rulings based only on the law. So, we've got these three huge branches of government, all keeping each other in check. But the balance of power doesn't just stop in the capital city. Nope, it's also divided between the central government and all the individual states.
The Constitution actually splits up lawmaking powers into three different lists. The Union list covers big picture things like national defense and foreign affairs. Only the central government can make laws on these. The state list covers local stuff, like local police. And then you have the concurrent list, with things like education, where both the center and the states can make laws.
But who actually puts all of these laws and policies into action? That's the job of this vast, vast administrative machine, the engine of the government, often called the civil services. These are the people who run the day-to-day business of the state and turn the big ideas of politicians into reality on the ground.
All right, let's do a quick recap of our power map. You've got the president, who is the ceremonial head. The real executive power is with the prime minister and their ministers, and they're accountable to parliament. Parliament's job is to make the laws, and the judiciary stands as the guardian of the Constitution. It's a complex, interlocking system, definitely not a one-person show.
So, in the end, the answer to who runs India isn't a person at all. It's a system that was designed from the ground up for balance. But this whole intricate design leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. In a system where everyone is checking everyone else, who checks the final checker? And what does that tell us about the nature of power itself?